and welcome to the first online showcase of the Universal Energy Facility, or UEF for short, which is managed by Sustainable Energy for All. I'm Ruchi Soni, Programme Manager of the UEF, and I will be your host for today. For those of you who haven't heard of us before, the UEF is an ambitious and successful multi-donor results-based financing facility established to speed up and scale up energy access across sub-Saharan Africa and Asia. We offer grant payments to companies that connect people and communities with reliable, affordable, and clean electricity. These grants are an important financial incentive for companies to build energy projects in communities that don't have access to the main electricity grid. To put things in perspective, in Nigeria, it's estimated that 85 million people don't have access to the national grid. These households and businesses depend heavily on millions of fossil fuel generators to meet their energy needs. So there is significant opportunity for off-grid solutions to increase access to cleaner, reliable electricity through solar energy projects. Today, I will walk you through the latest developments of the UEF in Nigeria, where we launched the Standalone Solar for Productive Use program, known simply as SSPU, and announced the first 10 renewable energy companies benefiting from the UEF facility. Together, we will witness some of the key moments during the SSPU launch event, which happened on February 23rd in Lagos. As you will see, the UEF received strong support from the Nigerian government, the private sector, donors, and civil society. We will hear directly from the beneficiaries about how UEF financial support will significantly improve energy access and productivity for more than 3,500 small businesses across Nigeria. And we will visit some of the businesses and communities benefiting from the UEF-supported projects. We will talk to small business owners, and we will learn more about their energy access reality and their expectations for the near future. But let's commence this journey in Lagos during the launch event with remarks from Anita Otubu, Senior Director of the Universal Energy Facility, who will provide an overview of the UEF and its relevance for the provision of sustainable, reliable, and accessible energy to those in need.
The Universal Energy Facility launched in 2020 as a multi-donor results-based financing facility that offers grants to help scale up and speed up energy connections across sub-Saharan Africa. To date, we have opened UEF programs in 5 countries. The UEF is offering grants to support mini-grid development in Benin, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Madagascar, and Sierra Leone. Here in Nigeria, we created the UEF's first standalone solar for productive use program, which connects businesses and services with solar energy projects to catalyze local economic activity. With this clean and reliable power source, businesses can grow and create jobs within their communities. A key aim of the program is to also provide an alternative to the fossil fuel generators that are so common across the country, which will reduce pollution that harms both the people and the environment.
Thank you, Anita. This was a comprehensive introduction to what we are doing for different communities in Africa. Let's now listen to our next speaker, Mr. Olalere Odushote, Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources, Lagos State. This government authority is an important supporter of the UEF.
Many of you are already aware that this bustling metropolis is powered by 1,000 megawatts of electricity supply from the grid. And that's delivered to the 2 electricity discos in Lagos, Eko and Ikeja. So it won't be news to you when I state that Lagos is almost entirely dependent on a fleet of no less than 21,000 megawatts of backup generation capacity, which is fueled by diesel, petrol, and other polluting fuels. If anyone ever wondered about the size of the Lagos electricity market or the potential for emissions reduction, you need to wonder no more. To face this challenge head-on, my ministry has put in place the Lagos State Electricity Policy, which aims to provide universal and reliable electricity for all our citizens. This policy sets out the state government's proposals for increasing the quantity and quality of energy delivered to the residents of Lagos State. In other words, this policy maps a path to assure the Lagos State residents of electricity reliability. In the long term, it is the aim of the state government to ensure by 31st December of 2036, there will be universal access to electricity in the Lagos electricity market, deploying the most efficient generation technologies. This means that everyone in Lagos, residents, commercial and industrial players, will have reliable and adequate supply of electricity without recourse to standalone diesel generators.
That was an interesting overview of the current electricity situation and the considerable efforts the government authorities are making to satisfy the increasing demand. Now I invite you to listen to the next speakers. We will start with Ms. Landre Shashore, Senior Special Assistant, Planning and Coordination from the Office of the Vice President of Nigeria, and Mr. Ahmed Seligio, Managing Director, Rural Electrification Agency.
I'm therefore extremely proud that Nigeria became the first country to design a comprehensive energy transition plan, which will enable us to achieve universal energy access by 2030 and net zero decarbonization by 2060. Now, through the energy transition plan, Nigeria is set to deploy an unprecedented amount of renewable energy capacity to deliver the energy access goals of our transition plan. For example, the plan calls for the deployment of about 5.3 gigawatts of solar capacity every year until 2060. We've developed this ambitious plan and adopted it as national policy. We've also established an energy transition office with the support of Sustainable Energy for All. And I think that this demonstrates how seriously we take the issue of energy access in Nigeria. And so I'm therefore delighted to be a part of this launch for the standalone solar for productive use, which is important to us, especially for MSMEs in this country. And this, we expect that this will enable solar companies to expand operations and meet the needs of households and small and medium-sized enterprises across the country. We welcome such initiatives. We continue to welcome them from SEforALL, hint, hint. We welcome these initiatives as they will greatly contribute to the realization of our objectives as we've set out in the energy transition plan. I'm particularly interested in the lives that will be transformed by this program. And I anticipate seeing businesses growing and more jobs being created, which ultimately will improve the livelihoods of Nigerians.
This program that we're launching today is also based on a results-based financing facility, which means that we are looking forward to having the results before the money is actually being released to the developers. And this is the major concept that was also used for the Nigerian electrification project. And to be honest, it has been a tremendous success because you find that when developers have been put in a situation where at least they are able to bring in their expertise, provide the service, and then get these grants and subsidies, it actually makes it a very, very successful exercise. And in addition to that, some of the objectives that we've been able to achieve with this kind of results-based financing is to align the systems with the desired results, also to ensure that we sustain the results with time. What we have found is that because the private developer has to continue running the asset, that asset becomes a highly sustainable asset. One very good thing about the RBF is also that it creatively addresses important components from financing to production to installation and to payment systems. And today, because at the Rural Electrification Agency, we've been able to implement this kind of result-based financing, we've been now privileged to work with all sorts of stakeholders. I see InfraCredit in the room, NSIA. We find ourselves working with all sorts of financiers just because we are bringing these projects that are touching people's lives.
They raised very good points. there's absolutely no doubt about the need for government commitment to properly implement the Standalone Solar for Productive Use program and how this initiative supports the overall Nigerian energy transition plan. Now we will hear from Mr. Chinua Azubike, CEO of InfraCredit, about how the SSPU program and financing will accelerate Nigeria's goal of universal energy access.
But it really excites me to be here today because blended finance solutions are very key to unlocking energy access. And the innovation with the result-based financing being launched today would really add to the solutions that the market needs to unlock more capital for private sector developers in order to penetrate the market and increase productive use of energy. We're working closely with the FCDO in providing innovative solutions for blended finance. And we recently supported a certified green bond for rural electrification access in Nigeria. We think this can be scaled up significantly. Energy and in particular productive use is key for all of us. According to the Integrated Energy Planning Tool, it's estimated that up to $16.4 billion of funding will be required to finance off-grid infrastructure for solar mini-grids and standalone solar systems that will electrify about 621,000 communities not connected to the grid. This represents about 98% of identified settlements without energy access. Now, this amount of funding requires a lot of collaboration, and the opportunity that Nigeria presents is that we do have domestic resources that can be mobilized. We've got local pension funds, we've got insurance assets that are roughly above $35 billion that grows about 15% per annum. One of the collaborations we need is to work closely to unlock a lot of this capital, to blend donor funds, grants that are designed to catalyze, to unlock more local financing. We're therefore very excited by the potential of this SSPU program to scale up electricity access in households and small and medium enterprises through solar PV options. By accelerating Nigeria's universal energy access, we will create jobs, reduce poverty, promote gender inclusion, and stimulate local economic growth. I'd like to reiterate our commitment to promoting green growth and climate resilient development by investing in clean energy projects.
Our last key speaker is Ms. Damilola Ogunbi, CEO and Special Representative of the United Nations Secretary General for Sustainable Energy for All, who explains how SEforALL provides significant support to reduce the costs of switching from polluting energy resources to reliable clean energy.
Sustainable Energy for All intends to scale up electricity by supporting sustainable business models that address the challenge of high upfront payment and enhanced bankability of productive use applications of solar PV. Through this SSPU program, we can demonstrate that it is possible to greatly reduce the cost of switching from polluting energy sources such as diesel and petrol to reliable clean energy using market-based approaches. Further, by de-risking the private sector, we will demonstrate that it is possible to incentivize solar companies, of which many of them are here today, to expand their operations to new market segments and serve as a blended finance mechanism to crowd in additional private finance. I laud the efforts of all of you here in this room. Some of you are my closest friends because you've been on this journey with me. I also see your dedication and your hard work, but we've only really begun. We have an energy transition plan, and we have to make sure we achieve that by 2060 and be one of the countries in the global south to do that. Personally, being back home in Lagos is very important. I never forget my roots, and I'm overwhelmed by the support that has been given to me today. I look forward to seeing the impact, and we will be back to see the impact of this project. And more importantly, I am committed to seeing the lives of my fellow Nigerians are improved through reliable, affordable, sustainable, and clean energy. Thank you all for listening.
Many thanks to all the speakers for their valuable contributions. As I said before, having local stakeholder commitment is the key, And after listening to these interventions, we can confirm that UEF in Nigeria will be an example to follow for other countries. Let's now hear from the beneficiaries of the SSPU program, which are the renewable energy companies that will build the solar projects. We had the opportunity to ask them how the UEF will help their companies and how their electrification projects will improve energy access in Nigeria. Let's hear from them.
UEF grant will help Creed's Energy raise blended financing to be able to service over 1,200 customers across Nigeria. We will be able to reduce energy poverty by providing access to solar systems for small, medium enterprises. Also, in terms of energy security, where the solar systems we're providing are more reliable, they're more affordable because we're offering them on a lease-to-own basis, and they're more reliable for the customers to do their businesses.
The UEF fund has come at a time when cloud energy is looking for a catalyst to accelerate its growth. The fund will serve as a catalyst to allow us to reach thousands of homes and households and energize productive use in Nigeria. Cloud energy is a leading decentralized energy provider. With the UEF program targeting productive use, we are certain of reaching more household businesses that will be able to energize its operation, become more productive, employ more people, and contribute to the well-being of Nigerians.
Recently, we rolled out solar smart generators and as a replacement for noisy, dirty, increasingly expensive diesel generator. With this grant, it will enable the company to further deploy more of these smart solar systems or generators to end users. Energy. We are into distribution of solar home systems. These are affordable solar solutions deployed to end users, deployed to SMEs, those in the rural and peri-urban areas. And since inception, we've deployed thousands of solar systems, solar generators to people living off-grid. So these would be able to do more using the UEF grant, and as well as providing affordability for those that will have interest in using the solar system.
The UEF facility is such a great initiative, and it will really help us tackle one of the major issues we have, which is the cost of solar installations. It can be quite expensive for companies and individuals to have solar installed, and the grant allows us to reduce the upfront cost to people. Apart from reducing the cost, there's 80 million Nigerians that don't even have access to energy, and it's a serious problem. It affects productivity. So at PAM Africa, we have solutions for standalone solar, for people that need productive use of energy. We also do net zero villages and innovation. So really what this facility will do and help us do is to give access to people in rural communities, especially female traders and health centres as well.
If we're to actually meet the target, the goal of reducing energy poverty and getting power to last mile communities, as well as providing energy
for productive uses. Then finance, you agree with that finance plays a key role. Now with the UEF facility in place now, that means we have a leverage, to easily deploy, procure, deploy some of these solar systems, to SMEs. Now, definitely that SMEs play a key role in the GDP of nations, right? So with power playing a key role in how productive SMEs can be, I think this is coming at no better time. So we are very grateful to the Sustainable Energy for All for bringing up this fantastic program. SEforALL Electric is keen on energizing communities to empower people, right? In fact, that is our motto, right? We believe that with power and energy in place, sustainable energy in place, we are energizing not just people, but businesses.
Thank you very much to all these companies. It's always great to hear directly from those who benefit from UEF grants and how their energy projects improve the quality of life of many Nigerians. As we are approaching the end of this interesting showcase, let me take you to our last segment. Now we will visit some of the communities where the UEF beneficiaries will implement their projects. We will see the reality of these communities and understand why initiatives like the UEF become life-changing vehicles for those in need of sustainable, reliable, and affordable energy.
It was not as far back as 1982. Àwa ọmọ ọjà agbédè ara wa à ń bára wa sọ̀rọ̀ à ń gbọ́ ṣùgbọ́n kò sí ná ọjà igun ẹ̀ bá ti improve jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ iná yẹn ò sí rárá àwọn ní frozen chicken bá pa wọ́n pọ̀ nínú ọjà ìtẹ́lẹ̀ wọ́n ti reduce kọjá bó ṣe yẹ torí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ló paṣẹ́ yẹn tì tán ṣe mọ́ ẹlòmíì gbé fírígísà ẹ̀ ògbè lọ́ọ́lẹ̀ ẹ̀.
Stress yẹn ó ti pọ̀ jù torí pé kí ni kò síná láti iron àwọn irinṣẹ́ lélẹ́yìí tó jẹ́ pé a lè lò láti fi ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú iná kò síná láti fi lò so torí ẹ̀ manual là ń lò láti fi máa ránṣọ and ó dẹ̀ wà stressful fún wa ó dẹ̀ máa ń fa delay fún àwọn customer bí ò ṣe síná báyìí sìn generator là ń lò láti fi ṣiṣẹ́ ẹ̀kọ̀ọ̀kan náà la máa fi ń lo àwọn machine wa torí pé agbára generator náà ìwọ̀nba ní a máa pariwo sí wa létí èéfín gbà míì a máa ta wá lójú and the expenses epo gan ó ti pọ̀ jù láti fi máa ṣiṣẹ́ ní èdè gan so gbogbo yẹn gan ó ń kó èrè wa lọ gẹ́gẹ́ bí iṣẹ́ tá à ń ṣe.
ìgbà tí òtún sínú ọmọ láti mẹ́ta láti bí 3 years ọjà àkọ́kọ́ ìyá máa láti gbà yẹn jẹnẹtọ̀ là ń tàn lójoojúmọ́ ó tẹ̀ ti sú àwa gan jẹnẹtọ̀ nígbà míì máa ní fault ìgbà míì jẹnẹtọ̀ kan máa wúkọ́ ńgbà míì ìyá máa gẹrun àlòkù fún yàn àwọn agbé lọ sí ẹ̀dọ̀ ìlú kọ́kọ́ bá wà gẹ́.
Most of them are either underserved by the national grid or unserved completely, so they are not completely connected to the national grid. And so for them to produce or for them to carry out economic activity, they need to generate the power themselves. The UEF SSPU program is greatly beneficial to business and communities as it gives tangible aid to developers to deploy their pipeline energy projects. Sustainable energy is a viable option. I can say that because our solutions use sustainable energy sources with solar mini grid installations.
Solar tá à ń sọ yìí ebi tí wọ́n bá dé àwọn tó ń lo jẹ́ẹ̀lì wọn lọ ra pẹtrólù ebi wọn ní ra pẹtrólù kò ní sáriwo mọ́ inú wa máa dùn sí tí solar bá dé gbogbo alálẹ́ àǹfààní àti ní we are 100% happy because our market is going to move forward.
Ó ti tó bí ọdún mẹ́rin tí mo ti ń ṣe káràkátà yìí. Àdúgbò tá à ń gbé kò síná níbẹ̀. Generator tí mo dẹ̀ ń lò kékeré ni, mo máa ń sọ́fà láti lọ ra fuel láti dà sínú generator. Generator yóò gbé fridge yókè, mo máa ń wá blọ́ọ̀kù lọ láti fi ráìsì àwọn drink tí mò ń tà. Torí pé blọ́ọ̀kù tí mo dẹ̀ wá ló jẹ́ kó wọ́n, àwọn nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ó jẹ́ ìpèníjà fún mi tí mo rí níbẹ̀.
Over 770 million people in Africa don't actually have access to electricity. Now, when you break it down to Nigeria specifically, it's about 80 million Nigerians that don't have access to electricity. The most interesting part of it is when you actually try to provide us with access to electricity, they have a difficulty in affording the power. So what really PAM brings to that area is, because of our huge expertise and knowledge and research on energy consumption and energy generation from a renewables perspective, we've been able to develop products and services that can fit the market and allow people to actually have access to electricity that they can afford and is reliable.
Our solution at PAM Africa gives the business owner the edge. First, there's the reliability when it comes to access of electricity. There's that reliability that you know it's always there. With our solution, you are having 24 hours supply of electricity, and also when it comes to control, you have the control over your electricity.
What we have done is kind of use that facility, the grant facility provided from SEforALL, to reduce the price of our systems so that the customers can be able to afford a better quality energy solution.
Tí n bá dẹ̀ rí solar yìí, ó máa jẹ́ kí ọjà mi ó yá, àwọn drink mi máa tutù dáadáa, àwọn èèyàn lè wá máa wá sọ́dọ̀ mi, wọ́n á máa rà. Ọdún 5 sísìnyí, màá ti gbòòrò sí torí màá tún ti ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù sí, mo tún ti lé ní àjà, mo tún ti lé sí area bíbá yìí torí pé iná ti wà, mo ti ń rí àwọn kan tútù tà dáadáa.
We could show you many more examples of how important these projects are for creating economic and social opportunities. But unfortunately, we've come to the end of our time together. Before we close, I would like to highlight that all these projects are expected to be completed within the next 12 months. They will electrify markets, shopping malls, cold storage facilities, clinics, schools, and other facilities. And we estimate that approximately 5,400 tons of CO2 equivalent per year will be saved once all these projects are implemented. A huge contribution towards the fight against climate change. Now I would like to invite all of you to stay up to date with our latest developments, not only in Nigeria, but in all the UEF countries, by following SEforALL on social media and sharing our content from www.SEforALL.org. I would also like to acknowledge the great support of our UEF partners, particularly the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet and the IKEA Foundation for the SSPU program. As a multi-donor facility, the UEF could not succeed without their support. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We look forward to sharing more great news with you in the near future.